Good evening. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this candidate debate. I also want to welcome the radio and TV and persons to hear the event. And I want to thank the moderator and the panelists for being here with us this evening. As most of you probably know, I'm Jim Baird, candidate for State Representative District 44. What you may not know, and by way of background, and I always hesitate to give you this kind of information because I'm not very prone to bragging. But the purpose here this evening is for you to get to know the candidates and to get to know who's going to represent you in the House of Representatives. So in that vein, I will share with you that I grew up in Park County, had a BS and a master's degree from Purdue University. From there I went to the military and was called to duty and served in the Republic of Vietnam. And as a result of combat situation there, I lost this left arm. But I was also awarded 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star for those events. Immediately upon returning to the United States, I went to the University of Kentucky and received a PhD degree. Then we came back to District 44 and I served as a cooperative extension agent working for Purdue University and had the livestock specialty as well as a community development specialist for this area. Following that, had the opportunity to serve with a multi-state firm, and I was a director of one of their major divisions and developed products and sales material as well as direct consulting for those products to help those individuals improve their production efficiency and improve the quality of their life. After that, my wife and I had the opportunity, and I might mention,
I'd like to thank the League as well and WGRE and DePaul University for hosting this event tonight. It's certainly very important for us to have an opportunity to reach out to as many people as we can and to share about ourselves. I grew up outside of Rochdale on a dairy farm, graduated from North Putnam High School, have lived now here in Greencastle for 27 years and went to school at Indiana University. My years of experience that I bring to this office is 4 years as Putnam County Clerk, 5 years on the Putnam County Council, 12 years as Mayor of Greencastle. I was a substitute teacher at Greencastle Community Schools, and when I'm not doing my legislative responsibilities today, I'm working for a local community bank, First National. My experience, I do believe, has given me the capabilities to realize the differences and the struggles that our schools and our local government and our businesses are experiencing. I know one of the things that I've tried to do is to keep at the forefront of the legislature the need for business development, the need to protect agriculture so that it's not overregulated, as well as addressing the responsibility that we have as legislators and as elected officials. Certainly while going door to door, it's been no surprise that jobs is the #1 issue for our families. And I think just important to all of us are infrastructure and public education. And so, you know, even our infrastructure with our bridges in our counties across the state are deteriorating and need to be addressed. So I think that our greatest challenge in this next legislative session is going to be making sure that we meet the needs of the public with their services and not raising taxes. And one of the things that I can say is I voted against the budget that our governor signed that without stimulus dollars would have bankrupted our state.
With Arizona's attempt to give the police an extended role in immigration enforcement, what do you think the role of the state should be in the area of illegal immigration?
I'm sorry.
And it goes to you first.
Well, you know, I think states should have the right to govern that, and I really do believe that every state should have it. We don't need the federal government telling all of us what to do all of the time. And so I think that the state of Indiana needs to be able to have the right to go in and to have some kind of policing. You know, and I think the best place that you can do it is in the employers. Obviously, when we all go to work, we have to sign credentials, we have to provide paperwork about ourselves, IDs, and I think, you know, having some kind of a system in the state of Indiana that says that I may randomly come in and check to see if all your people are legal is appropriate. And I think that if people are here illegally, I think those employers should be fine. I honestly believe that if the jobs weren't here, we wouldn't have the problem with illegal immigration.
Thank you. And same question.
Would you repeat that question?
Sure.
Of course.
Given the current controversy with Arizona's attempt to give the police an extended role in immigration enforcement, what do you think the role of the state should be in the area of illegal immigration?
I see this as a federal issue in that we have a responsibility, the federal government has a responsibility to protect our borders and stop illegal immigration. But on the other hand, if they are not accomplishing this task, then I certainly think states have the right and have the duty and responsibility to protect their citizens. And that police should have an extended role in carrying out that for a state.
Do you have a follow-up, Ms. Martin?
I think the only thing that I would say is that, I don't think it's for Indiana to tell California or Arizona what to do, and so that's where I go back on each state having the right, and Washington, D.C. might not necessarily be thinking in the best interest of each state. So I do believe that we should, but I kind of look at it as something that we could do. I know that they're talking about the policing part of it, but I think that through our own agency in the state of Indiana, like DWD, workforce development, that there are ways to be able to, again, to be able to check that, because the concern would be the policing. You have to be very concerned about profiling and whether or not you're just randomly stopping people because, and I think it puts it in a very difficult situation for them if you don't have a good policy, and we would have to come up with a policy that was going to be fair and consistent to all individuals driving or being pulled over.
Thank you very much. And do you have a response or rebuttal?
The only thing I would add to that, I mentioned the police might play a role in this, but I don't think that we get involved in racial profiling. I think they're probably going to be stopped for some other reason, but then I think they have the right to ask about their credentials.
Thank you.
Indiana is leading the nation in job growth this year, but it was way tougher to implement some of those programs to stimulate that job growth than it should have been, because we'd had a Democratic House majority that voted to spend billions that they didn't have, and the taxes would have been a lot higher today had they managed to approve that budget. So I think we need to bring back common sense to government, give teachers the freedom and the resources they need to accomplish one of the most important tasks of educating our most important resource. And I also want to see individuals and small businesses pay less taxes so that we can expand our job opportunities. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I also would like to close with just this one quote from Edmund Burke. He was an 18th century philosopher and a statesman. And the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barron. And Nancy Michael, your closing comments.
Well, certainly, this election is all about confidence and trust, and as your representative, I want to tell you that listening to you and trying to represent your values is something that I feel is very important. And so I hope that when you look at my voting record, I hope that you will find that most of the time we match up. I certainly take your values with me when I sit on the committees of agriculture, economic development, small business, natural resources, and especially as I sit as vice chair as local government. Obviously, in 2011, it is going to be imperative that we prioritize our expenditure. It is not going to be an easy job here in the State House. And I do believe that my experience working in the city, on the county, and on the state level for the past many years has provided me the skills that I need to be able to come up with that balanced budget that we need, while we're also providing services and keeping those intact for the taxpayers. To be certain that this happens, I think having somebody that listens and enjoys bringing people together is important. And I pledge to continue to try to communicate back with you regularly as I have, keeping you informed of activities at the State House, because I believe that's important. And because of my past 2 years, I'm very proud of the endorsements that I've received from the Fraternal Order of Police, the Farm Bureau, the National Rifle Association, Political Victory Fund, as well as the West Central Indiana Teachers, Fraternal Order of Police, and the Professional Firefighters. And I think that they believe that I have represented them well in the House, and I hope that you believe I will too. And so I look forward to serving you again, and would appreciate your consideration and vote on November 2nd.
Thank you very much, and thank you to our listeners and viewers.